From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, June 1st, 2017. Silver's trading at $17.14 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,263 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,429. Antiwar.com reports with President Trump expected to announce his decision on troop levels in Afghanistan any day now, and signs that virtually all of the former generals in his administration are counseling escalation. The massive bombing in Kabul's embassy district seems destined to add pressure for a big deployment of additional U.S. ground troops. President Trump has been believed to be leaning towards the escalation proposal at any rate, with Pentagon officials pushing the mounting losses of the Afghan military at the hands of the Taliban as proof they can't manage without U.S. help. The latest security failure in Kabul is likely to play into that narrative. Of course, mounting losses and failing security have been constant, irrespective of troop levels, but the reality of the situation is those generals pushing the idea that several thousand more troops would salvage the Afghan war are believed to have the president's ear. The deaths in Kabul come at a particularly opportune time for them, as they can use this to push for the deployment to be on the bigger side of the recommendations, said to be around 5,000 troops, and Trump will be able to sell the announcement to the public as doing something about the latest attack, as opposed to just the latest in a long line of failed deployments to a war lost long ago. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a conservative activist was sentenced to more than 7 years in prison on Wednesday for his role in an armed standoff with federal agents in Nevada in 2014 over the use of government land by ranchers and grazing fees. Gerald DeLamus was sentenced in Las Vegas District Court to 87 months in prison after he pled guilty last August to participating in a criminal conspiracy when he traveled from New Hampshire to join hundreds of armed protesters in Nevada supporting rancher Cliven Bundy. Bundy was in a dispute at the time with the federal government after federal agents seized cattle at his ranch over unpaid grazing fees. The standoff became a flashpoint for federal public land issues in the West. Bundy and his supporters opposed the U.S. government's control over millions of acres of public land in the West. He and multiple co-defendants still face charges stemming from their roles in the Nevada standoff. DeLamus had asked in November to withdraw his guilty plea. He did so after Amon Bundy, one of the leaders of the Nevada standoff, was acquitted along with 6 others for their role in the occupation of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge in Oregon earlier in 2016. DeLamus, a former U.S. Marine from Rochester, New Hampshire, was named a co-chair of a state veterans group backing then-Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. Ruling that DeLamus had failed to display sufficient remorse for his actions, District Judge Gloria Navarro denied his request to withdraw his plea and increased DeLamus' culpability under federal sentencing guidelines, adding up to 16 months to his sentence. He had already spent 16 months in jail awaiting sentencing. DeLamus is being held in the Southern Nevada Detention Center, and he asked that he serve his sentence in a federal facility close to his home in either Massachusetts or New Hampshire. There is no parole in the federal system for inmates sentenced after 1987. DeLamus was also sentenced to 3 years of supervised release. In court on Wednesday, DeLamus tearfully recounted his reasons for arming himself and heading to Nevada, saying that Cliven Bundy had told him that the Bureau of Land Management had snipers focused on his family ranch and he wanted to protect the Bundy children and grandchildren. DeLamus helped provide security at Camp Liberty, a space near the Bundy Ranch that was set aside for members and associates of the groups who rallied to support the Bundy cause, according to court records. The court heard at the sentencing proceedings that although DeLamus contended that his intention was to provide protection for the Bundy family, he also stated in an interview with an agent for the FBI that "we will stand, we will fight, we will die if necessary." The other 17 defendants facing charges connected to the Nevada standoff were split into 3 groups late last year. The trial for the group, including Cliven Bundy and 2 of his sons, is expected to begin in late September. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.